Well, here we go again. The video for April the 2nd, 2017 is entitled, Is the Cabal Being Taken Out? Once again, the videos recorded at my talk last Sunday were not completely ready yet. This time they arrived in the wrong format. Also, I have been unable to reach Aristo. Therefore, I am recording yet another video, this one in response to notices I'm receiving about the so-called cabal being taken out. While I certainly hope this is the case, I won't hold my breath. This was supposed to happen a good while ago now. It obviously has not happened yet, even though there are signs that something is going on. We are told that some things cannot happen until key players are removed. The currency revaluation, for example. I'm sure there is a lot happening behind the scenes, but until it is made public, there's not much anyone can say, including me. At this point, I do not know what info to trust. I am convinced that some well-meaning people are doing the best they can. Whether they will have the help and support of higher dimensional entities remains to be seen. Indeed, I have a lot planned for today, including the emptying out of my garage storage space, and thankfully Unity of Melbourne has agreed to take my books, although I did have a request for A Course in Miracles, which of course will be one of them, probably more than one copy of that will be available, but a friend requested that I get a copy of A Course in Miracles. And the rest of the stuff will be put in a very small storage area, which will quite a bit reduce my my inventory, and I hope within a couple of months to eliminate that as well. So we'll see how things play out in that regard. I did not plan on making a new video today. I plan on just putting up the one that Steve delivered to me yesterday. But it plays, but not. I can't get it to go on so that I can put it on the internet. It's a MP2 format, and it needs to be at least an MP3 or an MP4. It needs to be a higher level of format. The audio plays, but the video is just a scrambled image, not an actual image that can be watched. So we're back to redoing that, and I guess Steve will have it to me I guess tomorrow at some point, although again I'm not going to have it for the video tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to connect. I've been reaching out to Aristo online, but I have not gotten any response from him for the past 2 or 3 days. So I don't know what's going on in Greece. Anyway, there does seem to be stuff happening in relation to the cabal. There's reports that Obama has been arrested, and others have been arrested that are high figures, and that some of them are singing like canaries, trying to save their own skin and get immunity for revealing some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes and taking out some of the higher ranking criminals that have been operating the cabal and the crazy, insane system that relies on deception and relies on the energy of young children and even babies. I'm talking about, of course, the pedophilia that's been going on at the high levels. I mean, these are very, very, very sick people, and they've been allowed to exercise not only power, but a great level of control for a long, long time. And that has to come to an end, folks. There's no way that can be allowed to continue, and we expect to be able to conduct our lives in a manner that is safe and rewarding and actually restorative, in the sense that it brings back the latent talents, gifts, and abilities that I believe were given to us at the very beginning of time, but were subverted by these demonic elements, or whatever you want to call the cabal. I mean, they're certainly not beings that think like a normal person would, a normal human being would think. And they've created apparently clones of non-normal human beings that don't have empathy, because they obviously, the cabal doesn't have empathy. I mean, they can murder with impunity, without remorse, and do all sorts of atrocious acts against humanity, creating wars, creating situations where it makes life extremely hazardous and difficult. And this has to end. I mean, folks, we've got to wake up. The people that have been running the roost and creating the scenario of the show that's been going on this planet for a long time, these people have to be exposed, and we have to wake up and accept the fact that much of what we've been told and a lot of the restrictions that have been placed on us have been placed on us for this express purpose of keeping us in a subservient and a slavery state of being that does not allow us to become the best we can be. The people that try to exercise their freedom in many cases are taking that. Now, David Icke said it's all based on fear, and he overcame fear. He doesn't have fear, and they can't operate unless you're afraid. So maybe that's why my home was stolen, and why the police came in the middle of the night arresting me for driving with an international driving permit instead of a Florida driver's license. They never did produce paperwork showing that they had authority to do that. I never saw a warrant signed by a judge. That was never produced. So there's been a lot that's been going on that needs to be rectified. And of course, if the RV occurs, a lot of people are going to have sufficient funds to actually create a better world, and to fix some of the infrastructure, and to provide homes for people, and to totally turn around the situation that humanity finds itself in, and has been in for such a long time, as the cabal has tried to keep a large gap between the extremely rich and the average people, which are poor and becoming poorer. I mean, the whole thing in the United States is to eliminate the middle class, and to make a poor class that cannot stand up, that is dependent on the criminals to provide them money and jobs and stuff like that to sustain them. But it's a soul drenching, a soul wrenching rather, situation where many people have to give up their very soul and pledge themselves to darkness in order to keep going on, because that's how this demonic element seems to operate, and it needs to come to an end. Why it was ever allowed, as I've said so many times, is beyond me. Love would not allow. Love would allow free will, but with a limit, the limit that you can't violate the free will of another. But that obviously has not been the case, and it needs to change. And I'm hoping that it brings positive change, that we can actually experience and see for ourselves that this happens very, very soon, because God knows I'm tired, although I will keep doing the best I can. And anyway, thank you folks for listening, and namaste.